The Syrian conflict has reached a critical juncture, marking a significant turning point in the nation's tumultuous history. The Assad regime, once seemingly unassailable and deeply entrenched in power, has crumbled under the weight of internal and external pressures. This dramatic shift has sent shockwaves throughout the Middle East and beyond, altering the political landscape in ways that are still unfolding. The reverberations of this change are already being felt in global power dynamics, affecting international relations and the lives of millions of civilians, many of whom have been displaced. For over 5 decades, the Assad family held an iron grip on Syria, ruling with an authoritarian approach that left little room for opposition. Their rule was characterized by severe authoritarianism and the ruthless suppression of dissent, stifling any form of political opposition. The country seemed locked in a stalemate of oppression, with daily life marked by fear and repression. However, the recent turn of events has shattered this status quo, bringing about a new era of change and uncertainty. The Syrian people, long yearning for freedom and self-determination, are now witnessing a historic transformation that could redefine their future. The ramifications of this change are far-reaching and demand close examination, as they will influence not only Syria but the entire region. This essay will delve into the events leading to this pivotal moment, tracing the key developments that have brought Syria to this crossroads. We will explore the geopolitical implications of the Assad regime's fall and consider the potential future for Syria and the region, analyzing the broader impact on global politics. On November 27, 2024, a coalition of Syrian opposition forces launched Operation Deterrence of Aggression. This marked the beginning of a significant and well-coordinated military campaign aimed at toppling the Assad regime, which had held power for decades. This offensive, spearheaded by Hayat Tahrir al-Sham (HTS), and bolstered by Turkish-backed factions, marked a turning point in the Syrian conflict. The coalition's unity and determination were evident as they pushed forward with unprecedented speed and efficiency. From its epicenter in Idlib, the operation gained rapid momentum. The strategic importance of Idlib cannot be overstated, as it served as a crucial launching point for further advances into regime-held territories. Within days, Aleppo, Syria's second-largest city and a former regime stronghold, fell to the opposition. The fall of Aleppo was a symbolic and strategic victory, shaking the very foundations of Assad's power. The offensive's momentum was relentless. The opposition forces, driven by a newfound sense of purpose and unity, continued their advance with remarkable speed, capturing key territories along the way. Hama and Homs, 2 strategically vital cities, were soon brought under opposition control. These victories further weakened the regime's grip on the country and boosted the morale of the opposition forces. This swift advance culminated in the fall of Damascus, the heart of Assad's power. The capture of the capital was a decisive blow, signaling the imminent collapse of the regime. With the capital under rebel control, Bashar al-Assad's reign came to an abrupt and ignominious end. The scenes of celebration in Damascus were a stark contrast to the years of conflict and suffering endured by the Syrian people. The Assad dynasty, which had ruled Syria with an iron fist for over half a century, was toppled. The fall of the regime marked the end of an era and the beginning of a new, uncertain chapter for Syria. While the coastal regions of Latakia and Tartus, traditional bastions of Assad support, remain unaffected, the majority of Syria is now under the control of various opposition groups. The power dynamics in the country have shifted dramatically. The whereabouts of Bashar al-Assad are unknown, adding to the uncertainty that hangs over the country's future. As Syria navigates this new reality, the path forward remains unclear, with many challenges and questions yet to be addressed. Syria's significance in the global arena extends far beyond its geographical boundaries. The nation sits atop substantial oil and natural gas reserves. These resources have long been coveted by global powers, making Syria a focal point of international interest. The recent power vacuum, created by the Assad regime's collapse, has ignited a scramble for influence. Nations with vested interests in the region are maneuvering to secure their stake in a post-Assad Syria. This struggle for control has the potential to exacerbate existing tensions. The influx of external actors, each with its own agenda, threatens to transform the Syrian conflict into a proxy war. with devastating consequences for the region and beyond. The international community must prioritize the stabilization of Syria. A failure to do so could lead to the further radicalization of the conflict and the proliferation of terrorism, posing a significant threat to global security. The current situation in Syria has brought renewed attention to the chilling predictions made by retired U.S. General Wesley Clark in 2007. His foresight into the geopolitical landscape has proven to be eerily accurate, drawing both admiration and concern from analysts and policymakers alike. Clark, a decorated military leader and former NATO Supreme Allied Commander, warned of a U.S. plan to destabilize 7 countries in 5 years. His insights were based on classified information and high-level discussions, which he later revealed in various interviews and public speeches. This plan, according to Clark, targeted Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Iran. Each of these nations was identified as a potential hotspot for conflict and regime change, driven by strategic interests and geopolitical calculations. While the timeline he outlined has not been precisely followed, the trajectory of events in many of these nations, particularly Syria, is strikingly aligned with his predictions. The Syrian conflict, which began as a civil uprising, has morphed into a complex war involving multiple international actors. Syria's descent into chaos, following the US-led invasion of Iraq, raises troubling questions about the intended and unintended consequences of US foreign policy in the region. The power vacuum created by the fall of Saddam Hussein in Iraq had far-reaching implications, destabilizing neighboring countries and fueling sectarian violence. The current state of affairs, mirroring Clark's warnings, underscores the need for transparency and accountability in international relations. Diplomatic efforts must be redoubled to address the root causes of conflict and to foster long-term stability in the region. The Syrian crisis serves as a stark reminder of the human cost of geopolitical maneuvering. Millions of Syrians have been displaced, and countless lives have been lost or shattered by the ongoing conflict. As the situation continues to evolve, it is crucial to remember the plight of the Syrian people, caught in the crossfire of global power plays. Humanitarian aid and international support remain vital to alleviating their suffering and rebuilding their lives. In 1967, during the Six-Day War, Israel captured the Golan Heights from Syria. This strategic plateau has since remained a point of contention. In recent years, Israel's decision to annex the Golan Heights has drawn international criticism, but it has also solidified its control over the region. The Golan Heights offers a significant military advantage and is a vital water source, making it crucial for Israel's security and sustainability. The Syrian civil war has resulted in one of the most severe humanitarian crises in recent history. Over half of the Syrian population has been displaced, and millions have sought refuge in neighboring countries and beyond. The conflict has left countless civilians in dire need of food, medical care, and shelter. International organizations continue to struggle to provide aid amidst the ongoing violence and political complexities. The Syrian conflict is not just a civil war, it is a battleground for regional and global powers. Countries like Iran, Russia, Turkey, and the United States have all played significant roles, each with their own interests and objectives. Iran and Hezbollah support the Assad regime, while Turkey backs various opposition groups. Meanwhile, Russia's military intervention has been pivotal in maintaining Assad's power, and the United States has focused on combating ISIS and supporting Kurdish forces. This intricate web of alliances and rivalries continues to fuel the conflict. The Middle East remains a region in flux, with shifting alliances and ongoing conflicts shaping its future. The Syrian civil war, the plight of refugees, and the geopolitical maneuvers of regional powers all contribute to a complex and evolving landscape. As we reflect on these events, it is clear that the path to peace and stability is fraught with challenges, yet the resilience and determination of the people in this region offer a glimmer of hope for a more peaceful future.